Hey everybody. Just a little update on some of the shrimp tanks. I went out of town and came back, and I had put in one of these, a cycled media bag, and then I got some Ludwigia, and then it came with one of these little ceramic ring things. So I just popped that in there, and it kind of filled out the rest of the little bonsai tree. And then there was like a little bit of diatom algae when I left, and now it's just like, we've got kind of a bloom, but I'm not really worried about it. It's actually, that's one of the types of algae that shrimp really prefer to eat. So I'm calling this guy cycled. It looks like it is ready to go. And so I'm going to start adding some cherry shrimp. And the cherry shrimp in the shrimp breeder have just been going like crazy. It's like the females are just constantly pregnant. But got some diatoms in here, and then there's snails and stuff that have been cleaning up the glass and all that. And then I also have some soft green algae on the Bucephalandra, if you can see it back there. This is actually a good sign, because the shrimp will just eat all this stuff up. Okay, so the cherry shrimp breeder, right? The lights aren't, it's still kind of in the morning. The lights aren't programmed to be on yet. I'll turn them on. I got these cheap Amazon lights, and I'm not even sure who they're made by. I want to say it's like Mag Tool or something like that. But they're like $30, and they do a great job. Turn you on. So I don't know if you can see all of them, but there's just so many shrimp in here now. They are definitely not all like really high grade. Like, I'm seeing some sakuras, like they look like fire, fire sakura grade, or at least cherry shrimp sakura grade. And then there's some that are, the males are not going to be as colorful. The females are going to be the ones that have the really rich, deep colors, and then a lot of times the males, sometimes their little carapace might be a little bit more transparent, or something like that. But so what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to kind of do a little bit of a reverse cull, and I'm going to take some of these guys out that look like they're really high grade. And I have, like, every time I look in here, the females are pregnant, or they're just covered in eggs. So I'm going to try to, what I would really like to do is have them drop their eggs, right? And then transfer them to the new tank. Like, that's a female right there, pretty sure. And then, is she fanning her eggs? She might be. She might be fanning her eggs, because basically they're just constantly pregnant. This one's buried. I can see she's got a ton of eggs. But what I'm going to try and do is grab some of the like higher grade ones. I am having a little bit of a snail infestation in here, and everybody's eating the diatoms. It's not a problem. This one does need to be pretty. But so how I'm going to do this is I got a breeder box, like a fluval breeder box, and I'm going to fill it up, and then I'm going to start grabbing some of these guys and putting them in there, and then I'm going to let it do its thing, like its bubbling thing, in the other tank. so that it gradually acclimates them, and then I'm just gonna put them into the other tank. So just by accident, I grabbed like a bunch of little teeny tiny babies. So I don't know. I hope they're okay. But I'm just gonna start with these guys because that's a few. But I'm gonna go ahead and take them down to the other tank and start drip acclimating them. Okay, so I have this little breeder box set up here, and it's just kind of doing a pretty gradual little drip. I can adjust this thing to kind of open it up a little bit more or close it a little bit more so that it's not dripping quite so fast. But that's about right, like that. Just a few little drips, like constantly, and then it will, it's going to equalize the temperature in here, and then if there's any differences in like the, I don't know, the hardness or anything like that in the water, then it's going to adjust to that. But so the problem with the tanks, the breeders upstairs, right, is that it's been tough to control the temperature up there. It's just been getting a little bit too hot in that room because we're in the beginning of July, and it just gets a lot of sun up there. And so I put like fans on the tanks and stuff like that, like over the tops of them, and that's really helping. But there's one that it's like I just can't cool it off enough to where I'm comfortable putting more shrimp in there. If it was something that wanted it like around 80, 78 degrees, it'd be perfect. But these guys, they want it a little bit cooler. They want it around like 72, 74. Like that's like ideal. So I'm just going to move everybody down here because it's way easier to keep this room cooler, and then I can stare at them. So, but like they've been breeding like crazy in that one breeder, because it's like I was trying to get some decent sized ones and ended up grabbing some babies by accident, just because they're just covering the glass, and I tried to grab one and ended up getting some babies by accident. But let's see, I counted at least 6 or 7 in here right now, and I'm probably going to put some more in, but this is what I'm going to start with. I want to try and save these little babies if I can. But yeah, I'm going to move everybody into here eventually. I want to move the whole colony into here. Okay, so here's just a better look at how this is doing its thing up here. So basically this is a breeder box, and then it's designed to, I don't know if you have like a male and female that are breeding, and you can put them in here, and then you can keep them and sort of have the water cycling through here. Or it could be like a baby grow out tank. Some people set these up where they have like the intake tube where the air is bubbling up is set up so that it sort of sucks some, like they put a little egg basket for like celestial pearl danios or tetras, things like that. It sort of sucks the eggs up into here, and then they grow out in here. And then I have just a little piece of filter sponge up here just to keep the babies in, because this little piece right here, they're small enough that they could slip through that little thing like a water slide. But yeah, so I just want it kind of dripping like so pretty slowly, not filling up too fast. And then I want it to come with the temperature, and I want them to just kind of get used to the water. And like it's been going for a little while, but when I filled it up, it was about like, I don't know, maybe a third of the way full. So now it's about 2/3 of the way full. But it'll just keep cycling and doing its thing. Okay, so I gotta say, I think that this is like a superior way to acclimate shrimp. um, because they can just, come up to temperature and then the water keeps cycling and stuff. And it's very gradual. But all right, so they've been jumping around, like almost trying to swim upstream, almost like trying to get in through here where the water's coming from. So we're ready. Put all these guys in here. And eventually, I do want to just move the whole colony. Like, I'm going to start with these guys, but eventually, I really do just want to get all of the cherry shrimp, all of the red guys into this tank. But I tested the water quality. The water quality is perfect. Any babies in here? Everybody stick into the glass? No, good. Yeah, I tested the water quality. It's actually better than any of the other tanks around here right now. Let's see. We got 0 nitrites, about 5 parts per million nitrate. So, and then we got lots and lots of algae to eat. And, if you look at this and you're like, ew, gross, you have an algae problem. It's not really a problem. If it's covering leaves and stuff like this, where it's like sort of starving out plants, then it's a problem, but I can just come in with a toothbrush and then kind of just scrape some of it out and pull it out, or just pull it out by hand like this. And it's not an issue. As long as it's not like killing plants, it's like covering their leaves so that they can't photosynthesize and starving them out, it's not an issue. And the shrimps love to eat it. Okay, and an update on this guy, my most problematic tank. I'm just looking around in here. I do see the Blue Dream, like they're kind of doing their thing. They're kind of up here, like they're hanging out on the sponge filter, and like eating some biofilm and stuff. I have spotted buried females in here. There's 2 buried females in here right now. I did something a little bit different this time. When I left town, I put in a little bit of wilty lettuce, and for one of the first times, here's some right here. It's just like you can see some snails are eating on it too, but for like the first time, I've come back to this tank when I left town for a while and didn't come back to any dead shrimp. So, so fingers crossed, everything, all the issues in this tank are taken care of, and hopefully we see some babies soon. I need to take these little white clouds, these little baby white clouds out because they're big enough now where they can go in with the others. But yeah, I did notice that the shrimp, like when I put in food, I switched the food that I was feeding them. I switched to this stuff. I switched to Sarah shrimp food because I was looking at the ingredients on some of the stuff that I was feeding them, and there is some of the stuff, there's just like a lot of copper in it, which is really toxic to shrimp and snails, just any kind of invertebrate. I would almost say it's almost like arsenic to shrimp and snails. Like there's a lot of treatments for snails and things like that that have copper in it, and then it can sort of contaminate the silicone and stuff like that and just end up as like a permanent thing in your tanks. So it could have been something that I was feeding them, but this stuff, this Sarah shrimp food, is just, I looked at the ingredients and it's really natural. It's like really natural products. It's like nettle, willow bark, alder cones, fish oil. There's just no there isn't a whole lot of like preservatives or weird crap in it. So, but yeah, I mean, the most problematic tank. And then I think what I'm also going to do is I'm going to set up a new tank that's going to be for the Blue Dream and I'm going to try and get a bigger colony of them going, and it's going to be the one that was next to the one where I just put the cherry shrimp in. So I'm going to move all the cherry shrimp into that one, and I'm going to try and move all of the Blue Dream into the other one, or maybe start over with a new colony. But yeah, so that's just a little update. But the wilty lettuce, the like kind of like rotten lettuce, man, they love that stuff, and it just kind of floats, in the top of the tank, and they eat on it and stuff, and they just seem like they really like that stuff. Wish I could find the one of the buried females. I looked when I got back, and they were fine. Okay, so this is the other shrimp tank that I was getting ready, and I kind of went on a kick with like these little little plants in terracotta pots. And so I found some of these little pots at like Walmart and stuff like that, and they're super cheap. They're like 88 cents a piece. So I was filling them with rock wool and just like making little planters out of them, because I like that you can just pull them out or put them in, and it looks like not all of the plants that I put in these guys have made it. Some of them might have just gotten free and be up here. Like I thought I put some, I don't know, I thought I put some of this repens, like into these little pots. Well, I can just do it like that. But you can take some little bits of like fertilizer or something, like I don't know, some of that Osmocote stuff or whatever, and put that into the rock wool. And this guy, he's got some good roots in there now. He should stay in there. But just make a cute little pot, little plant pot like that, and pop them in there. But I was going to turn this into, another shrimp breeder, but it's like, okay, I have multiple fans going up here, and just doing my absolute best to try and keep the temperature down, but it's like, it's just impossible to keep the temperature below like 78 degrees in this tank, and it's just a little bit warm. So, it would be perfect for something else. So I'm thinking about sticking something else in here and breeding it, like, I don't know, maybe some white clouds, because I like my white clouds, or been wanting to do what's endlers. I've been wanting to start breeding endlers, so I'm thinking about doing endlers in here. But that's an update on all the shrimp tanks, and that, and so they're going to be moving over the next couple of weeks. And yeah, I think that's it. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.